Okay, so today I'm here with a very special person. I first met you in the X Factor Mastermind. And yeah, I read your book, Amazon bestseller, The Slingshot Maneuver. It's a really awesome book. I want to dig into a little bit more about what made you write this book, how you got to where you are. And yeah, cool.
Let's get started.
So I read up on your LinkedIn and everything. You're actually a financial consultant.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It's my first job, actually.
Okay.
So,
What led you to become a consultant?
Okay, so interestingly, I read one of the books that defined me was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. But anyway, side note, which is quite interesting, I got the chance to interview him recently. So it's like, whoa. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one full circle.
When was the interview done?
It was done last week. So
Okay.
it will be broadcasted soon. But,
On Zoom or in person?
Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
cool.
in America. But interesting because he was the guy who started me on this whole journey. So, and in his Rich Dad Poor Dad book, he mentioned one thing is that one of the most important skill to learn is selling.
Right.
So he always say he's a best-selling author, not a best writing author and things like that. So I'm like, okay, I think I need to pick up this skill. So after that, I went to, which is why my first job I went to apply for was insurance. Like, you know, my theory is if you can sell insurance, you can sell basically anything.
Why do you think that?
Because insurance is, at that point of time, maybe now it's better, but at that point of time, it wasn't the most, it had a bit of stigma in that role. And then I was a university graduate. So my parents was like, you study a degree and then you went to sell insurance and things like that. When you don't even need a degree to sell insurance. Anyone can sell insurance, right? So, but I'm like, no, there's a skill here that I really need to learn. So, so I picked it up, sold it for 2.5 years. So actually, I was quite comfortable. And while everyone was spending a lot of money, I mean, they had to live that life.
Right.
I was actually, because all along I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I've been saving all the capital up. So, but actually I thought that, hey, actually, they always say that this could have been a business, which, to be fair, there was part of it, like, there was like a business.
So you had a game plan already before you became a consultant, is it? You said,
Yeah.
you want to save up.
I had a game plan when I was in junior college, the second year.
Wow.
All along, I always told my mom that I'm either going to be a beggar or billionaire. I'm not going to be anywhere in between. They're like, you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, lawyer, that kind of thing. Now I'm like, no, I'm going to be a business person. The reason is because last time I mean same thing, you want to earn lots of money and things like that. Then after a while, they say that if you can be a doctor, you can save people. Then if you can be a lawyer, you can. Then after that, I was thinking, hey, if I can be a businessman that earns a lot of money, I can hire all of these people. So I was like, this is the ultimate. This is the ace of spades. This is everything. So I was like, let's just be a very successful business person. So then you hire the best doctors, best lawyers, best accountants, best whatever. And so I was like, maybe the ultimate power was being a good business person. So I wanted to be a business person. And because of that, I think in JC, I was like, okay, what do I need to do to study business? SMU business, NTU business, NUS business. Then I realized all of them, you just need one science and one math. Then I'm like, okay. So I was doing some double science in JC and then I did econs because econs I feel was useful. But everyone was like, you don't need econs for any degree in uni. But I'm like, no, this is real life stuff. I want to study this. And I dropped one of my science. Then they were like, why do you do that? If you do that, you will not be able to go for, let's say, medicine or anything. Then I'm like, nope, I'm here to study business. Business only needs math and one science. So I'm just going to study enough to get my business degree. So that's it. So I was very clear that also.
So you had that laser focus. I'm assuming you were quite different from your cohort in JC at that point.
All along, I was a bit weird. Like okay, this is what I want to do with my life. So like that, I was like that in JC. And then, so when I applied for my uni, it was just a matter of, it's all business. Just which, everyone was like, what degree should I be studying? I'm like, business, just which school? And I just arranged the school in order. Then even when I went to uni, I was quite different because everyone was there to like, okay, let's try to get as high as a grade. They will plan their strategy to get the maximum grade. I'm like, I'm here to learn. So what do I need to learn to set up a business, to be an entrepreneur? So everyone in business school, usually they will major in banking and finance. If not, they will do marketing. So it's, something like that. Then for me, it's like, because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur needs, yes, they do need to know finance. They need to do marketing. They need to do HR, accounting, everything. So I did everything.
In fact, that's what Next Level does right now, right? All of the above that you just listed.
Mainly business, mainly investing, and mainly business. These are the two key things.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. But this to me is what we need in real life. You don't need to major in one thing in real life. You need to like know, at least to start a business, you need to know a little bit of everything. So I studied a little bit of everything. Everyone was like, I wish I could do that. I'm like, you can. But then they all just went back to the familiar path, which is banking and finance.
So did you have a lot of friends, or were you like not socializing with them, going out much?
I was going out with them. I had quite a number of friends, but I think we at the start we all took the same path. But as we started going to year 2, year 3, then our path become more separate. So I mean, I'll make friends at every class that I'm at, but they were taking the same path. I mean, at the end of the day, we still catch up on some things, but they were like, oh, I wish I could be like you. Then I'm like, yeah, you can just study the stuff that you're here to learn. You're here not to be graded. You're here to learn something. Might as well learn something fun. But they were like, eventually they will go and take some modules that are like easy to score, but completely useless.
Right.
Changing landscapes and intro to PC, because they test you on things you already know. So you will definitely get A, but you're not learning anything.
You were quite a studious type, I assume, right? You studied your subjects. You didn't miss classes. You were there to learn. You were not there to mess around.
I wouldn't say I'm studious, but I don't miss classes. I would say I'm academically quite strong. Not as strong as some of the friends that I know. So like in secondary school, without studying, can get A's. In JC, when I don't study, I can get A's, but because you need to practice. But once I study, I can get A's. But in university is where even after I studied, I couldn't get A's. So this is where I know, this is where my academic journey ends. Because I had friends who didn't study and still get A's, which is what I did when I was in secondary school. So I'm like, this guy is made for master's, PhD kind of thing. But and anyway, in business, my theory is no one bothers about honors or MBA in business. It's just, in business is how good is your business. Yes, yeah. So I just did my 3 years, got out, and my aim was to start a business or to learn how to sell. And that bring us back to insurance. Yeah. Right. So yeah.
So how well did you do in the insurance industry, and what were the struggles you faced at the start?
I think insurance industry, my first 2 years, I don't think I did very well. I don't think I did very badly. My first year started off with 50K. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
This was in 2011, right?
2011.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
cutting inflation.
Some people call it 100K, that kind of thing. Yeah. But so 50K above average. But I mean, it can be better. Then the second year, I also did another 50K. So I mean, all of this had because I was trying to save money for my business, my business idea. But actually, I was thinking, hey, if I can do 50K and it compounds, because there's renewals and all these things. So I was like, this can actually get better. But then I don't know, I'm lucky or unlucky. But in my first 2 years of my insurance life, I had to do 2 death claims for my clients. Yeah, my clients' parents, which is very interesting because many of my other colleagues at that point in time, they have been in the industry for maybe 5 years and they have never did a death claim before, or maybe 5 years and then they did their first death claim. Well, I was there for 2 years and I did 2 death claims.
My God.
So that was my exact expression. I'm like, what am I supposed to say to the person? I mean, if you tell me work hard, hustle hard for the money, I'm comfortable with it. But because I sold to people who I care about and things like that, so there was a lot of emotional burden, which no one teaches you. What do you say to a grieving parent, kids, things like that. So after that, I'm like, then I had clients who had to go hospital, who had miscarriages, got an accident. Then I went to see them, check on them, like, are you okay? Then I realized that the money is good, but there's that emotional thing that I wasn't prepared for. Then I'm like, I don't think I can do this for the next 30, 40 years of my life. So I'm like, okay, anyway, it just happens that this was, I got good money. Maybe this is a time where I should exit, I would say. And then I went to start my business.
Tell me about this business that you started then.
So after I sold, after I got out, then I was like, okay, let's start my first business. So my first business was that in selling leather journals. If you are familiar with Midori Traveler's Journal, it's something similar. I went to source from Indonesia, the leather, put it together, printed the paper, everything is a leather notebook. And then I created a website and then started selling it. So yeah, my theory is if you can sell insurance, you can sell anything, right? And leather, luxury, premium, should be easier. And it's an item, right? Insurance, you're selling a promise of paper. I sold it. I think I sold maybe 20, 30 books of these journals. Each one was about $40. Quite expensive, but yeah, I sold it. So first month I was like, okay, not too bad. Then after that, by second month, everything dried up because I had people buying from I think Dubai, people from UK buying and stuff like that, and obviously a lot of Singaporeans and Malaysians. But after that, the leads just dried up. Then I realized that selling is one thing, marketing is another thing. So I didn't know how to do marketing. So I could sell, but after you finish your leads, there's no more leads. So after that, around this point of time, then I realized that I'm missing a skill set. And that was around the time where I realized maybe I should go back and go and learn this marketing thing. And this was around the time where I got email for opening on, do you want to be a copywriter? So then I went to, my first business failed, but went to learn digital marketing from a digital marketing startup company. So, that was my next job. And I was there for about 4.5 years, and I rose up the ranks to become a GM. Over there, I learned many things. I learned marketing. Then after I learned to do operations, and then sales. I revisited my sales skills, which I had from insurance, and also did. When you're a general manager, you do generally everything. Especially in a startup. So I did a bit of finance, accounting. So all the things I learned in uni actually came back useful. Not exactly, but I'm kind of familiar. Like, I kind of remember this. So I kind of learned everything. And 4.5 years later, after I got the whole thing, then I left to start my second business, which is what I'm in currently right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's called the Underdog, right? Underdog strategy.
Yep.
Awesome. And then you're also running this current company, the next level as.
So what happened was that after I left, because I helped in that company, I helped to scale them up from, I think, when I joined them, they were less than $1 million. Then we scaled them up to 7 million and growing then. So I left. Then I started my own to consult, to scale and grow companies. Which is what a lot of things are written in that book. Then I consulted for Next Level. And Next Level at the point of time when I was consulting them, they were just 1 million. So I was like, I was telling Sean, who was the founder at the point of time, like, hey, man, this is easily a multi-million-dollar business. Then, if you talk to him, he'll tell you like, this guy is like some young punk, some trying to bullshit me.
How old were you at that point?
I was 31. Okay. 31, around 31. Yeah, 31.
Okay.
So most people is like, I can grow your business 3x, 10x. He was like, you come and just help me with my marketing first. But I'm like, okay, sure, no worries. So I did the marketing, got them results. They were like, okay, this guy knows his stuff. Then I changed some things, give them a trial run. And then usually they were earning like maybe 30, 50K. Then suddenly they earn like 150K. They were like, okay, this guy knows his stuff. Then within 1 year's time, I scaled them from 1 mil to 10 mil. So they were like, oh, this guy really can do what he says. Then that was where Sean asked me, hey, do you want to be the CEO of Next Level? He was very cool about it. He's like, I think you know how to bring us to the next level. So after that, I was like, okay. So
how to bring the next level to the next level.
That's how we realized this is a very cool name that keeps repeating itself. So that's how I ended up leading this company. While Underdog is just something I do at the side right now, but this is the key. Running a $17 million business is really taking up majority of your energy.
How do you manage two companies though?
Originally, this company was just one of my companies. So I have a bunch of clients and all, but this company, as it grew, and this company grew very fast because it has a ready team, and ambitious founder, and ambitious, hungry people, which really helps a lot. So just restructure and grow, and this company started taking a majority of my time, and they also brought in majority of my money and my revenue as well. So I just follow where the money goes. So I put majority of my time here right now. And then for that consulting business, it still happens, but I think it's right now. I have this thing where if their business is okay, not to sound arrogant, but like if their business is not 1 mil, then I just say don't come look for me when your business has grown up to a certain extent. And also I believe in win-win. So if anyone come out, also ask them like, is this a business that Next Level might want to integrate into their business and scale? So right now most of my focus is really here. So I don't think it's more of like how do I run two business at the same time. Rather, there's always one that's the focus, and then one is the side. Then along the way where it grew bigger, then you focus. Maybe I just swap. This is the majority, that's the side. So it's the prioritization thing.
How did you actually get in touch with Sean Sia? at that point?
Oh, okay. So during that, remember I said I was working in that startup, digital marketing startup for 4.5 years.
Yep.
So he was one of the speakers that I worked with, one of the speakers, and so I kind of know him then. But we did 1 or 2 events with him, and that was that. Then we never caught up again. So yeah, so when I was starting my business, I was meeting a bunch of people. Then I met this lady. I pitched her my idea. She was like, in fact, she was the one who told me, interesting story. She actually works for a competitor company to Sean Sia, but she met me first. So, but because Sean is such a nice guy that everyone he leaves, even after they stop working for him, they still have good things to say about him. So when I was talking to this lady, she would say like, and she was just a executive in her company. She's like, I don't think my company will take on this idea, but you know what? I think Sean will. Sean is a guy who will like to experiment with new ideas. I think you should go look for him. Then she's like, you just text him. She's okay on. So I was like, you sure? Then I just messaged him like, hey, I'm not sure if you remember me. I want to meet up for coffee. And true to what she said, he was like, yeah, sure. Met him at the Starbucks somewhere downstairs. And after that conversation, the rest was history.
Was the Starbucks here in this building?
Yeah. That.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay, that's a legendary spot there.
Yeah. So it was very funny. We still talk about, this is where it started. Yeah.
Nice.
And the funny thing was I was referred by his competitors, team member.
Right.
So yeah.
Interesting. I like this one thing that you spoke about in your book, where you talk about like hard work does not necessarily mean success. How did you get to that mindset?
Okay, so actually a lot of how I do things or what I do or how I do what I do actually starts from young. So in school. So I'm not a very academic person, but I do well in academics because I believe I'm not the guy who likes to mark or like study hard. I just like to get the results, right? But of course not by cheating and things like that. So I will always do things in the least. My parents always call me lazy, but I call it efficient. So I don't believe in working hard. I'll always, if I see myself doing something repeatedly, I'll try like, how can I just simplify things for myself? And if I see what everyone is like, okay, I need to get an A for, let's say, history, they'll study the whole textbook. I will study all the history X papers. So I'll look at, when everyone is studying every chapter, I'll take maybe the last 5 years of paper, look at the exam questions, right? Or like social studies, look at all the exam questions. Then at the point of time, I realized that, like for example, this is my top pattern. Every year, there will be one question on Singapore and Malaysia, like the merger or separation and things like that. Because it's social studies, they have to train you on that. So if every year for the last 5 years have a topic on, so instead of social studies, studying Switzerland, studying Venice, study the Singapore chapter. So every time, I only study one chapter. That was the chapter. And it always comes out and I'll score lah. So study smart lah, that kind of thing.
Right.
Not studying hard. So I do that for social studies. I do that for history. So my theory is just, so I spot the patterns. I mean, a lot of being systematic or being strategic is really spotting the systems. So spotting the patterns and be there when it's time to be there. So it's how I live my life. So even, let's say, playing soccer, playing basketball, I'm not the best dribbler, not the fastest runner, quite fast, not the highest jumper, but I'll be where the ball is. I mean, it's really just being efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
In football, where do you play?
Striker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The poacher.
Van Persie, do you watch?
Yes. I'm a Liverpool fan. I love him.
Right.
My last time when I was playing, my jersey number is 20 because he's the perfect Van Persie, Vanessa Roy, all the fox in the box. I love their style.
Nice. Yeah.
Minimum effort, maximum impact.
I feel like if you were an Angmo person, you'd be Van Persie, man.
Yeah.
Playing football in that style. Yeah, that really reminds me of your style. Can you talk about core numbers as well in your books?
Yeah.
Do you actually apply core numbers in your personal life, and how do you do it?
I would say I apply core numbers in everything. So every time when I see something, because I'll see it in terms of like a science and a math kind of thing, because some things is quite hard to break down. So I'm like, core numbers is, actually a lot of people think I'm a very accounting numbers person, which I'm not. But I mean, everyone will be like, nonsense, you're a numbers, I have a term for it, a numbers monster. But what happened was that because when you're trying to play a game or something, you're trying to get the edge. And the let's say fantasy football, things like that. So I keep looking at the numbers. Unconsciously, I'm like, okay, what's the pattern? What's the pattern in the numbers? And then I realized that, hey, in marketing, it's all about numbers, your cost per lead, your, things like that. So I start to track the patterns and all of that. And then once after a while, I realized I keep looking at these patterns. I'm like, I need to systemize it, summarize it, and that's how the core numbers report come out. Do I put it in my personal life? I'm sure I do. I can't think of an example right now, but I don't think I don't track like my weight. I don't track my, but I systemize my things. I give you an example of how I make my life easy. In plastic bags. So, you get a lot of plastic bags and you just dump it all into one thing. So, there's one day every time, let's say I need to take I need to reline my waste paper basket. Not waste paper, my rubbish bin with that plastic bag. So, somehow you take out, it's a small plastic bag. Then you're like, then you which one? So, I take out all the plastic bag. I started sorting them out by small, medium, large. Then I systemize it into 3 different paper.
Right.
Yeah, then I was like, okay, this is the medium plastic bag. This is a large plastic bag. So if I want to line my rubbish bin, it'll be this one. Then my wife was looking at me and was like, you're crazy. Like, you're the only person who's trying to create a system for plastic bags. And I'm like, but it makes my life so much easier. If I got keep, oh no, this is too small, put it back in. Oh no, this is too medium. No, this is the large one. So I try to systemize everything. I think the numbers is just a extension of it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you separate your work and personal life, or do you believe in work-life integration?
Okay, I will have an unfair advantage in this. Okay, people always say, if you enjoy what you do, is you're not working and things like that, right? So I took a long time to find out what I love, and I realized that what I love is business. So everything I see from the lens of business. So on Saturday, on Sunday, I'm thinking about business. So in that sense, now I'm running a business. I'm like working, but I enjoy it. So I don't think I'm working, but I'm not saying this, everyone should do this. But this is my unfair advantage, which someone can do the same thing I do, but they'll never do it as hard as I'm doing because I love what I'm doing, which is business. So I was just telling someone, I was looking at Songfa Bak Kut Teh, how they run their business as a franchise. They are like the McDonald's of pork ribs of Bak Kut Teh, because the systems are so consistent, their taste is so consistent, their service is so consistent. I'm amazed. I'm thinking like, who is the guy behind the operations of this? Who trains all their staff? Because it's so good. I see it. So every time when I look at something, then I'll say, oh, there's the marketing in this. It's brilliant. In a way, everything seems like work, but I love it. So yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe someone should just try to work in the area that they really love. I don't know, but yeah, this is for me. So is it integration kind of thing? It's, but when I play, I really play. But is it work-life that?
What do you mean when you play?
So when I'm present, I don't look at my phone. Okay. When I meet someone, I don't look at my phone. I'm like, and I don't like, let's say at the movie, then I'm on the phone. Then when you're while you're holidaying, then you're constantly thinking of what's happening at work. But when I'm working, then I'm working. I'm not thinking about playing. So in fact, the core numbers report just now, just backtracking a little bit, was the reason why I can play when I really play. Because I was in Scotland. I was in Scotland
for a month, right?
Yeah, for a month, 3 weeks to a month, hiking and all. But because I set up everything already, last time when people ask me how's the marketing campaign, let's say I ask you how's the marketing campaign, and marketing, you can, if you're a very strict marketing campaign marketer, you're like, it sucks, Then another person will say, oh, the others is very good. But actually, it's very by feeling based. So actually, if I look at your numbers, actually it's very good. Then the guy who thinks that his campaign is very good actually sucks. So after that, I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to color code this. Get the numbers. Beyond this amount is green. Beyond this amount is red. Which is a sucky campaign. So every time I just look at the report, oh, lots of green. Okay, it's good. Oh, lots of red. So the numbers, the color codes all makes it very easy. So because of this, every time it's green up. Every time, let's say at the end of the day, I hike, finish, nothing. Just look, oh, it's green. Continue hiking. Yeah, I can't think. So it was this kind of systems and reports that allowed me to really play when I'm playing. So I don't bother too much. And it's quite cool that I can manage a company while I'm in Scotland.
Yeah. Would you say you can walk away from your business for 6 months and it will run on its own?
Yes. I think right now, no. Because right now, actually no, it's 9 months ago. 9 months ago, I could walk away and everything is like, I'm so bored. So being bored and being an entrepreneur, when you're bored, you start new things. when you start new things, so once again, I'm back at the cannot walk away part. But 6 months ago, everything was systemized already. So I was, in fact, last year, June or July, I was away for 2 weeks, I think. 3 weeks. I was like, there's nothing to do. Then 3 months later, October, I can like walk away. Then that's where I was like, okay, time to do something new. So yeah, then I did some new stuff. So the new stuff cannot walk away, but the old stuff, yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all within the next level.
Yeah, it's all within the next level.
Okay.
Because next level has the team, you train the team, you have a bunch of strong leaders, strong managers. They pretty much do the stuff. In fact, and that's also why I could go and start new things. So yeah, I think that's important.
You mentioned just now that it took you a long time to figure out what you really like. How long did it take you?
I think I'm weird in the sense where when I was 16, 18, I was constantly asking myself, what do I want to do in life, which most people don't. So, some people maybe at 20s around when they're going to start work, then they're like, what do I want to do in life and things like that, right? But I was asking that question maybe even primary school, like 12, that kind of thing. But at the point of time, it's just some curious. Then at 16, then every year I asked at 16, 17, then 18, then I kind of like, okay, I think I want to be a businessman. But businessmen also don't know which industry. They're just, every year it gets refined until when I came out of uni at 26 or 25, 26, I was clearer than most people. I was like, okay, let's pick on the skill of sales first. In fact, I became in the second company, I became a general manager, right? That skill, I didn't even know that was my superpower skill. Like, my skilling is my superpower. Only because I was in a startup where I get to, blank sheets of paper, did all this. Then I realized that, wow, I'm actually quite good at this. So I kept exploring. It took me many years. Okay, I'll give you an example of exploring. When I went army, when I came off army, I was reading a lot of books already. When I came off army, while everyone was waiting to go uni, they'll try to get some internship somewhere or some admin job to get a high pay. I was like, I want to start a business, right? At that point of time, everyone said, I want to start a cafe. So I'm like, I don't say it, I go and work in a cafe. So I went to work at Ben & Jerry's, scooping ice cream.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, for real. After doing that for 2 months, I can tell you, nope, I don't want to start a cafe. Right? But at least I went to do it. So I know exactly what it is to start a cafe. Then after that, just a bit of a foray into the space was that same thing, rich dad poor dad, learn how to sell. So I was like, what's the hardest thing? They say sales, and then door knocking sales is the toughest. I went to learn how to do door knocking sales, sell StarHub, cable TV, take up the experience. There's other easier ways to earn money, but I really wanted to experiment, so I went and learned that. Then when I was in uni, same thing. Then I was like, okay, everyone was jumping business to business, trying to get modules to modules, how to get A. I was like, okay, what business can I start? Oh, how would this help me in my business? So my lens was there. Then I remember I went to play some paintball game, which I enjoyed very much. So I was like, okay, maybe I should start a paintball business. So during my school holiday, while everyone is going to get their internship at Goldman Sachs and all this kind of thing, I was like, I went to apply for Red Dynasty, which is a paintball game organizer in Singapore. So when I went to apply there, they look at my thing, they're like, you're undergrad. Then they're like, you're overqualified for this job. Then I'm like, oh, then I just came myself with all passion, So I went there, learned how to organize the game, shoot, get shot, organize the games here. Then I realized, nope, this is not what I want to do as well. And also I also asked them, like, I realized that for every paintball or every gun you buy, you need to have a firearm license from Singapore Police Force. And you need to have big plots of land. So I realized that, this is not, and it's under a hot sun, or if it's raining, it's a shitty business. So I realized every time I start a business, I don't just theorize about it. I went to go and do it. And then after when you do it, you know exactly, is this what you want to do? So I don't want to run a pinball business. I don't want to run a cafe. So all of these experiments helped me to be clearer about what I want to do every time. So by the time I did sales and started getting money, I can't tell you what I want to do, But I can already tell you, no, I'm not going to be doing cafe. I'm not going to be doing F&B. I'm not going to be doing paintball. I know, and that helped me point me along the path lah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
There's this trend going on online, right? If you don't make your first million by like 21 or 25, you know, all these online gurus. How old were you when you made your first 7 figures?
33.
Okay.
33. It was quite a memorable moment as well. I'm like, cause I left my work at 31. At that point of time, I had 100K. So life is not linear, and life is not
Exponential?
Yeah, money grows exponentially. So at 31, I had 100K, and
Which is actually pretty good for anyone.
Yeah,
Any
they were always trying to say like, oh, you know, try how to make your first 100K before 30. So even then, I also missed it. I was like 31.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Then, but because of that, and I think I mentioned to you, I live quite simply, so I could take some risk. So I started my own business. Then at 33, then I hit my first million.
This was with your marketing company or with Next Level?
A bit of all. No, I was with Next Level then already. So
Okay.
cause my business partnership with them was great. My investments was doing well. I had some crypto as well. That was a great time as well. All of them added up. The net worth went past 1 million, and I was like, I made 7 figures, and it's in the bank. It's not like, you know, some theory out there.
Can pay now people the money.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So then I realized that, you know, if I have kept to the path, you would think that, okay, 100K in 31, then maybe, you know, a few more years you go by the path, but within 2 years it was 7 figures, and then within another 1-2 years it became another multi-million. So I realized that things don't go in a straight line. Yeah, it's we can be more patient with ourselves.
That's actually very inspiring.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Wow, that's nice. Cause like online, I don't know if you watch Andrew Tate or Alex Hormozzi.
Here and there, yeah.
Iman Gadzi.
Alex Hormozzi, Andrew Tate here and there, but Alex Hormozzi, yeah, I love his stuff.
Yeah. I love his stuff as well. But like, man, that guy is making like 100 million like 1 year ago, and think now he's scaling past that as well. How do you feel about all of these online gurus right now?
I think the things, okay, I can't say for all. I by the way, I totally believe in Alex Hormozzi. In fact, what I did for Next Level is quite similar to Alex Hormozzi, and I did it even before I read about Alex Hormozzi's 100 million offers. So yeah, because I think I have this belief that Americans are like 5 years ahead of us. So I was exposed to this in 2017. This Alex Hormozzi thing, but I think
You believe that Singaporean market is 5 years behind the American? I agree with you.
Yeah. So I learned these scaling methods from an American. So I learned it in 2017, 2018, then 2019 I came out to do it. And then when I started doing it, Singapore market is not familiar with this whole thing yet. So yeah, then after that I scaled Next Level as well. So then after that I realized Alex Hormozzi wrote a book about it, and I mean there's similar books. I realized all business books all have the similar vein.
Same fundamentals?
Relatively same fundamental. 80% is the same stuff. 20% has a different angle or different focus. They choose to focus on it. But yeah, it's about positioning, about pricing, marketing, scaling, around the same thing. Even my core numbers, right? I was just telling someone else, before I call it core numbers. Google, they had something called OKRs. Then a long time ago, there was KPIs, KSIs, management by objective, MBO or something. So we all know that we need to track numbers, but we all call it differently. And we have different philosophy behind tracking of numbers. So even why when I wrote the book, because after reading so many books, I realized that everyone's very boring. So I try to simplify it. But going back to your question on how does it feel about them, right? I would say that honestly, if I did what I did in America, 100 million by now. Honestly, Singapore market unfortunately is quite a small market. So what you also kept by
the size
of your market, because I think we have our ads. I think everyone have probably seen our
the frequency is like 5.
Yeah.
So
if I was in America, I would have loved it. Unfortunately, my business model has a certain degree of time zone restriction to it. So it's very hard for me to do a business in America, even though it's online, because I need, let's say, coaching them. I can't coach them at 3 a.m. in the morning, which is 3 p.m. So it's a little bit tricky. We're trying to see whether we can overcome that. Once we can overcome it, yes, 100 million is no issue. But I'm quite certain, let's say, if you put this into America, simple, 100 million is simple. So sometimes you're just at the wrong place. And it's easy to, I would say it's easier to make 1 million in USA than 1 million in Singapore. Cause
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's like, it's easier.
Just the size of the market, right?
The size of the market, or 1 million in China, right? Everyone just give you $1, you were like, well, so
you'll be a billionaire.
Yeah. So it's sometimes the size of the market makes a difference. And I never understood this because last time they always say Singapore is too small, government will say, try to go overseas, try. I never really understood it until recently, the past 2-3 years, we're thinking of how to scale. Then no matter how we scale, we're like, there's a limit to this. And then we try to scale around the region, but Singapore does have the highest purchasing power. Malaysia, not as much. Indonesia, I mean, yes, but also the currency, all this as well. So I think we are very lucky to be in Singapore. I'm very thankful to be in Singapore, but there's a limit to the size of the Singapore market. So, but I think if you are Singaporean or watching this, maybe you just target somewhere else. So if a better idea, or take an idea from somewhere and then just import it here. Don't pressure yourself. I think, this reminds me of this friend that I have. So she hit her 25-year-old birthday and she cried because she wanted to be a millionaire by, let's say, I think, don't know, like 28 or 30 or something like that. And then she was like, I'm not even halfway there. Then I was telling her that life is not linear, life is exponential. A 3-year-old, to quote, I think, maybe Sir Ken Robinson, a 3-year-old is not half of a 6-year-old. It's different, right? You don't, So it's not like, okay, if I'm supposed to hit 1 million by 30, by 15, I should have 500,000. It doesn't work that way. So don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, but you have to continue growing the path. So and I think if you really look at all the greats, even Warren Buffett's first billion wasn't made until he was like quite old, 50, 60 plus. So, and now he's like,
well, that's quite late though.
Yeah, it's quite late. So don't have to be like him, but the idea that your skills, your life, and your money even compounds. So a lot of people see me, okay, like example, I'm 36. I was a CEO at 33 around there. Yeah, 33 or 34. I think 33. So people are like, whoa, you took over next level within 1 year, you're a CEO. Then I'm like, hey man, before that 1 year CEO, it took me 9 years. I was like 2.5 years in insurance. I did the thing that I did 4.5 years as a general manager. Then I did consulting 1 year. Everything adds up. So to become a CEO takes about 9 to 10 years, which is kind of quite accurate gauge. But it's just that you all see me at my last path. Then it's like, oh, you took you 1 year to become CEO. I'm like, no, man. So sometimes we see people's highlights, but there's actually a lot of backstory to it. And even for me to become a CEO in 9 years, it's because when I was in army, I was busy reading on business. I was busy studying about business and things like that. So for a person who just realized that they started working at 28, and then this is where they start the whole path. Maybe 38, then they become a CEO. I don't know, and not everyone is meant to be a CEO as well. So yeah, don't beat yourself out, man. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that was quite inspiring also. What's you speak about vision in your book actually, and you say you ask the founders to talk about their company and you speak about it with passion. What's your own vision for the next 5 and 10 years?
It's interesting because we spoke about this because it's a real what's the word, problem. So my vision, right? I must tell you that even my vision for myself is constantly being broken down and re-evolving. So like when you're young, let's say you ask a kid, what's your vision for life? He will give you a small vision because that's his perception of the world. Then after that, when you get exposed to everyone, then you realize that, man, the vision is like, you need to break it and so my vision is constantly being broken up and redesigned as well. I think right now, the one thing that I won't say what's my vision, but what makes me excited. which I can say that this has been ongoing for the last, I mean, you ask them for the last 3 to 4 years, I have been saying a thing. A lot of people ask like, oh, you know, well, what's the next number for you? What's the next net worth? I'm like, this net worth thing is just a score. This whole business is a game. Checking numbers is like, for me, checking fantasy Premier League scores, like, you know, to me is, I want to make a lot of money because I want to keep scoring goals. Like if you ask a striker in a football game, like how many goals is enough? 3, 4? She's just like as many as possible. Like if I score 5, I'll tell you I want to score another 5 more.
Right.
You know, it's just like that. So for me, what makes me excited is I want to grow a business, and people say I want to grow a business, I want to be the biggest, the first, whatever. Then I realized that no, I think I want to build so then after I expanded, I want to build an empire. So like I always love like Alexander the Great, this kind of conquerors, Genghis Khan. Then they built an empire, then they expanded big. So I built a strong business empire. Then after I realized empire is not enough, because empires after a while, when Alexander the Great died, then it crumbled. Yeah. So what you want is dynasties. Like so the thing that inspires me now the most when I look at Singapore is dynasties. Like Far East organization, it's a dynasty. It's like the dad passed down to the kids, passed down to the, you know, it's like they freaking own the buildings of Singapore, right? It's not even just land. Yeah. They own buildings, multiple buildings, and yeah, it's a dynasty. So I realized that so right now at the back of my head is, number one, build a strong business, yes. But how do I build it where I have a strong succession plan? And then how do I pass this down and then build up? Yeah, so at least empires past 3 generations, I think that will be a dynasty of sorts. So what excites me now is how to build a dynasty. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but right now, even then, I feel that there's a very earthbound kind of vision. So far, all the cool visions, I realize as I study all the successful companies, their vision must be world size. Like Netflix, you go read, it's like, you know, entertainment for the world. Then for people like Elon Musk, it's like beyond the world. It's like going to outer space and stuff like that. Because I think humans are drawn to something greater than themselves. So for me, right now, greater is like transcends my lifetime, but then transcends a few of my family's lifetime. It's just dynasty, can transcend to the world, can transcend beyond the planet. So, but for me, myself, right now, excited to build a business dynasty. Yeah.
Okay. Your business is purely online right now, right?
Yes, mainly. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do have some physical live events.
Okay.
In fact, we just had one live event over the weekend. So, yeah, but I would say 95% online. Yeah.
Okay. I had a friend recently who I met, 26-year-old kid, and he was from an e-com crypto background, so also very online. But then he said that he had the same vision as you. He wanted to build a dynasty of sorts. So he started a bakery business and he scaled it to 12 outlets. And he's doing about 10 million in revenue at the age of 26. So that's pretty amazing.
Nice.
But he said that he needed a brick and mortar business to get there, because that will last for way longer than when he was doing it online. What are your thoughts on that?
I think these days, right, the business model is evolving, it changes. So things that are online are going offline, things that are offline are going online. So previously we were offline, we were doing event-based business. So, and then when COVID hit, everyone brought it online. Then when we did it online, we realized that, hey, we can market to, last time when we market to Malaysia, we had to go to Malaysia to do it. Now we can serve Malaysian students, Malaysian clients from Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, whatever, all from Singapore. So online does have that edge. Then by the same time, I always wonder, like, if you think about it, there are online business going offline, like Love Bonito, right? It was an online blog store, live journal. I saw them how they grew, amazing story. Then now they are open more outlets. Then I'm like thinking why, but I realized that live events or live stores, the brick and mortar has a certain experience that is required. So I can't say which is better or worse. I think even right now, even as we do a lot of online, but we realize the best impact, the best experience happens live. People are still social creatures. So at the very highest tier, we still do live things. But what's my take on that student, that friend of yours? Depends how I think life has, I can imagine how when you expand, when you see the physical store, the brick and mortar, the bread, all these things, Yeah, but let's say if I want to go into China, then there's that limitation as well. So
He's actually thinking about going to China and Korea now as well.
yeah. So the brick and mortar store has its weaknesses because I would say online is a great way to test because minimum things, So let's say I sell I don't know, bags, shoes, whatever. I can sell them and I know that there is a demand there. Then I go and figure out how to set up a store. Yeah, but I think sometimes I might be speaking out of ignorance, but like I know that let's say if I want to open a store in Indonesia, I need to have an Indonesian partner. So brick and mortar does have its limitations, but when done well, I think if you want to build a dynasty, you can't rule from afar. You have to be there.
Right.
So yeah, I'm happy that he's opening. I think in Singapore after a while, he reached the same conclusion that there's the market is only so small.
Yeah, there's a cap, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he said that he just wanted repeat customers that he could serve daily with the same thing. That was his mindset, and that's why he went into the bakery business. Like, have I been doing things wrong? Because I run a marketing agency as well. Should I open a brick and mortar business? You know what I mean? Sometimes you think about these thoughts and think that, and he's quite young. 26 is quite young to be doing 8 figures.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. How did he fund his expansion?
Crypto.
Okay.
Then that money he poured into e-com, and that money he poured into his first outlet. Cash flow green, he opened the second cash flow green, and he kept going.
Nice.
Yeah.
So brick and mortars, I would say very fun things, but have to manage the cash flow and the margins properly. So I mean, if anything, always look back at history. So the brick and mortar shop that expanded the most, Bread Talk, and they expanded the most during 2008 when there's a recession. Then everything was very cheap, everyone was closing down, then they started expanding. So I don't know, maybe he can do the same thing. But I mean, during the recession, quite a number of stores expanded as well. I think $1.99 store and things. But after that, overexpanded, closed down. So there's huge expansion. You can watch how they do it. I think Gongcha was another. But this sometimes some expand. I think there's 2 types of ways. Because from class when we look at business, we see from different lens. Yeah. So Gongcha expanded very fast. I felt that maybe they had some investors, venture cap. Then they expanded very fast, like marketing. Then the shop that does well continue. Those that don't close down, right? Flash Coffee, I think it's a venture back kind of thing. Open a lot. It's like they're basically running Facebook ads on mortar store. But for those who expand based on organic kind of thing, then every store you expand, hopefully you're in the green, then you can expand more. If not, then you expand slower. But if someone comes in with a more aggressive, let's say a venture back bakery store with some tech, I don't know, they one shot expand, then they'll wipe you out now. I don't know, but this is it really depends on the strategy. But I've learned not to judge too quickly because on the outside, 2 stores are expanding equally fast. But some stores, after a while, they'll close down. Some stores are steady. So like your friend Cash Flow Green, very good. Just don't compare with others. Just do what you know is good. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because he feels a bit purposeless now after hitting that revenue level.
Needs a new vision.
Yeah. So that's an interesting story.
You have to have more ambition. So interestingly, when this company grew from 1 mil to 10 mil, so 10 mil, if you read Scaling Up, the book by Vern Harnish, so there's this thing called the Valley of Death. So most businesses, 96% of businesses in the US, 96% of businesses are less than 1 mil. So if you hit 1 mil, you're like the top 4%. Then if you go to 10 mil, there's a Valley of Death. A lot of people die growing from 1 mil to 10 mil. If you hit 10 mil, you're at the 0.4%. Okay? 0.4 or 0.04. Then from 10 mil, the next Valley of Death, a lot of people will die growing 50 mil. Okay, then I think that one they say less than of all the 28 millions of companies, only a few thousand hit there. So it's less than 0. something. Yeah, then after that, then there's the Valley of Death. So even at 10 mil, we are like 0.4%. If I didn't remember the facts wrongly. But after a while, if within that, in this company, there are some people who are like, okay, let's 10 mil, we're top 0.4, we can, just rinse and repeat and do the same 10 mil every year. Then there are some that, this is boring, let's go to the next level. That's why our namesake. So you realize that as I scaled people, because I was in the scaling business, there are some people who I scaled them at about, at first they were starting with 100K. Then when they scaled to maybe 300, 500K, then they were like, okay, I'm kind of comfortable, you know. Then I realized that these are not the people who I want to work with. So that's why now I'm like, number one, if your industry has the ability to go more than 1 mil, then I'll consider working with you. And if you yourself have the ambition to do more than 1 mil or 10 mil and and beyond, then let's work together. Because if not, after a while, you'll be bored. Money after a while is So, but you see, for me, if they want to hit the goal, like for me, I'm a striker, soccer player. After I scored that 5 goals, ask me, I will still, the next day I'll still come down, I'll still play the game, and I'll still want to score another 5 goals. If not, I want to play at a higher level, right? No more street soccer, 11 aside, no more 11 aside, World Cup, or like the next thing, like. So, I mean, this is fun for me, but not for everyone. For some people, money is just a means to something else. So when they hit 10 million, I'm like, okay, I'm happy then. Yeah. So in scaling, I realized ambition is very important. Ambition of the business owner. Without the hunger, the ambition, very fast, you can scale them. And once they hit 500K, 800K, they're like, actually, this is quite good money for one person, which it is. And then, so, yeah.
Who are some of the clients that you have served that you found to be the easiest to scale? Specifically, like an industry or a niche?
So far, in the space that I'm working at, it's definitely the education segment. Education segment, anything to do with investment space, where money flows in, where money is interested in. Some that I have helped scale. I have helped scale wellness, yoga teachers. So yoga teachers previously, they were charging like 3K, 100, not 3K, 1,500 for.
These are local boutiques.
Yeah. So each session is $150. So they charge one package, 1,500. Now, they sell at 10K or 20K.
Oh wow!
They're like, and it took them 1 year. At first they're like, anyone will buy. Now, the woman recently told me, it's like, if the person doesn't buy the 10K, I'm not really that interested. I'm like, you weren't like that 1 year ago. Then they laugh, So same thing. So now, we sell packages like 30K, 50K, 80K. Then, so when you tell someone to sell 10K, that's our lowest package tier. We're like, this is so easy. Then the rest of the people, like, they were like, wow, that 10K is such a small amount. Then I'm like, when I met you guys 2-3 years ago, when I sold 5K, you were like, this is so expensive. Who will buy this? This one, no one in Malaysia will buy this. I was like, yeah, but
wait, this was in Malaysia?
Yeah. So last time they used to sell 3K in Singapore. In Malaysia, they sold 3K in Malaysia. So it's ringgit. So it's 1K. So when I went there, I was like, okay, we're going to do this 5K ringgit. They're like, 5K ringgit? I mean, like, we sell 3K ringgit. I'm like, 5K ringgit, 10K, 15K, then 50K. They were like, no one's going to buy that 50K. And I'm like, just put it there. Trust me. Do what I say. And we came back that day after that weekend with 150K ringgit.
Wow.
They were like, okay, what do you do? After that, then that's how the journey got started. Because previously they were like, if you all can sell more than 10K or more than 50K, I think quite successful already. Then I'm like, nope. Then I came back with 155K ringgit to be exact. Then everyone was like, what do you do? Then we brought it to Singapore, and then just
Nice. There's you know of the term SMMA right now?
SMMA.
Social Media Marketing Agency.
Okay.
It's like a huge niche right now for the past like few years, and COVID made it like grow exponentially.
Yeah.
It's basically marketing for businesses or e-com. Do you feel like this industry is a bit saturated right now?
Well, when I left my company, because that company, right, I could have become a digital marketer. Open my own digital marketing agency, but I chose not to because in fact I trained up. I mean, you might know this guy. I won't mention his name. We can talk about this guy later. All right.
Yeah.
But, he was one of my intern. All right.
Okay.
Then he was working in this company as well. Then eventually he left to start his own agency. So actually I could start my own agency as well. But I'm like, to earn big bucks, I I know that the agency life, I mean, after a while, you know, it's about more accounts, then you have to find marketers, then give them accounts. It's just kind of doing the 3x more, see how many, and hope that they don't leave you. But if you train a marketer good enough to replace you, most of the time the marketer will leave and start their own agency. So it's it keeps happening like that. So I know that this marketing agency model, you can make 100K easily for yourself, but you have to make $1 million in marketing as a marketing agency is not the business model. So sometimes you are restricted by the business model as well. So for a start, it makes good money. You want to get 10K a month, I think it's easy stuff. But if you want to build $1 million business, $1 billion business, there's a limit to this. So even I can tell you this business right now, it will not hit $1 billion unless we change the model, which is why we realize that what got you here will not get you to the next place. So we always got to go to the next level. So you have to unlearn or relearn or learn new things, and you just have to get there. So with regards, is this saturated? I think everyone needs it. So it's an evergreen thing. Okay, but if you're talking about whether you can make it big or not, I think the biggest you can go is 100K to 100K if you don't kill yourself to the ground first. But then anything beyond that, you have to have a new business model. You can still do marketing, but not as an agency. So which is why when the intern after that went out to start, they're like, hey, you are the one I was the one who taught him how to do marketing and do marketing agency and stuff. But I'm like, he's like, you can go this. I was like, no. I wanted to play the bigger game. And 3 years now, down the road, instead of earning 100K in a year, I can earn it in 1-2 months. So different game. The model is.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because like, I mean, you know, Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, all of that, they sell the dream, but then they make money by selling the dream's dream. I don't know how to explain. Like they basically sell you how to make an agency on your own, but then they make money because they're selling you that. And that model is more scalable.
Yes.
So would you say they are wrong for doing that, or would you say that's no bopian, they have to do it?
I think it's I don't think they are wrong for doing it. I think it's a case where because they want to get results for the person. So sometimes you need to sell the lowest hanging fruit. But the lowest hanging fruit will not get you to the highest place. So because if you don't get any results for them, people won't buy your stuff. So you have to sell that lah. But after a while, you realize that the money is usually not made on the front end. It's not made on the first thing you see. It's always made. There's a move behind the move. So like what Andrew Tate says, his move is behind the move. Like, instead of telling you guys how to be, he's selling the business of making you guys a social media marketing agency. And this has been an ongoing thing for a very long time, right? So there's always a move behind the move, and that is always the trick to it. Like a lot of people think. So as a starting business, right, I realized that a lot of people always see the front, and if you see the front door or the front end offer, you missed most of the magic. Like most people, you know, they always have this idea that most people think McDonald's sell burgers, but no, they're in the business of real estate. Yeah, so burgers is the front, but is it wrong to be selling burgers? No, it's not. But the magic is in the real estate, right? So recently, I heard of this thing as well. Dell computers. People think they sell computers, but actually, they don't. They actually. This is a huge guy. He lists 10 billion renminbi kind of companies. It's like their money is not in the computers. Their money is in managing the cash flow, because they can hold the money supply, because they sell so much computers, they hold money supply 30 days, 60 days, 90 days credit. That amount of money inside 90 days, what can they do with 90 days? They just do forex trades. A small amount, they can make a lot of money. So that is where the money is made, the margins are made. Computers is just the front end, the shop front. So there's many things that's happening behind, but you must really observe. Chinese TikTok, Douyin, they also share a lot. It's like they'll say, oh, this guy sell a lot of skewers. This shop sells a lot of skewers, very, very cheap. But the thing is, they are like a skewer shop, but the skewers they sell, it's actually very salty, very spicy. So you end up buying a lot of beer, right? And the beer is not they buy from elsewhere. They produce their own beer, their own premium beer. So their margins are very high. The beer can only be found at their shop, and they sell a lot of their beer. So you feel that they are skewer shop, but actually the skewers are so hot and so spicy and so salty that you keep drinking their beer and they make a lot of money in the beer. So it's always this, but the move behind the move. I love that's business.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, what do you think about Andrew Tate's strategy specifically though? Because I actually like the way he's doing everything. It suits his personality. He gets the attention, then he has a funnel, and then the funnel has affiliates, and then they spread. What do you think about that business model? Just the model specifically.
I think it's brilliant.
It's brilliant, right?
I think it's brilliant. I think he can pull it off because he has the personality. But not everyone has that same personality, and those who don't have tried to model him will definitely fail. So I think one thing I also learned recently was this, not recently, but I see it happening, it reinforces it. It's this thing called, if you go do this test called the wealth dynamics test, there are stars, there are creators, there are lot, and there are, so I myself, I'm a lot, I'm a mechanic. If you ask me to be in front of the camera, those kind of like a creator, star kind of person, I will probably flunk. So I think Andrew Tate may be the star. He has that personality, and that makes him good at what he does. But I think for the rest of the people who follow him, if you have the same traits as him, a magnetic personality, a polarizing kind of worldview, that works. But if you do not and you try to blindly follow him, you will fail badly as well. So I think it's really, really knowing your strengths, strategizing to your strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, like for example, coming back to why I'm a lazy guy and a strategist guy, because I realized that how I play basketball, soccer, and all this, I'm not going to be the strongest, the most skillful, the highest jumping thing, so I just have to play at a position where no one can fight me. I'm there before the ball is there, and I'm just going to kick it in. So and because of that, it's suddenly it seems like my superpower, but it's just looking at my strengths and weaknesses, I play to my strength. So I think before anyone decides to copy Andrew Tate's business model or stuff like that, you must see whether he has the same characteristics and personality, exciting worldview, market, and your government won't put you in jail, that kind of thing. If you have similar, you're a very polarizing guy, can scold people, Gordon Ramsay style, maybe you'll survive. But if you're not, you're a very shy person, your market is not ready for this, or your environment, your culture, you might bomb. So you never know this. Yeah, awesome. Don't blindly copy.
Awesome. Yeah. Can I ask you, how's your current investment strategy like? You have such a brilliant mind when it comes to business. I'm assuming it's the same for your investments as well.
Interestingly, so my investments, right? So actually, I know Sean now is like, where am I? About 10 years already. About 10 years. So 10 years ago, he was the first investment course I ever learned. Then he was teaching me 2% strategy, selling put options. So being young at the point of time, I'm like, this is so boring. I mean, the money is good. It's a sound strategy. It's too boring. So after that, I went to learn other more risky strategies, Forex, CFDs, stock trading, blah, 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 blah. After a long while, then I came back. When I met him again, I was like, especially after running a business and doing a job and all this, then I realized that your model is the best. It's like, I only need to do this 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes a day. And I should have just done it more and it would have compounded. But because I was so trying, I did CFDs, which I made, I had started off with 30K. I turned it into 40K. Then I lost until it became 20K. Then I earned back until 30K. Then I stopped. I just like, okay, I made back. It felt like poker, but it was like, So after doing this whole circle, I realized that what I wasted was time. Then I realized that this method works. So as I learn more and more exciting strategies, and I realized the best strategies are the no-brainer strategies, like buying index, buying long-term call options on index, on index, on this kind of very boring kind of things. But it works so well. Like, it just works so well that after a while, I've just come to learn. I just do that. So investing, they say, should be boring. Took me about 7 years to realize they're right. So my nothing exciting. Buy good companies, buy indexes, buy long-term call options on good companies.
Where's most of your money in right now? For investing?
Right now, in fact, so for me, there's a few things. Most of my money is in, US markets, and a certain amount of crypto. So I do believe in the long-term potential of crypto. I have, I put about 10, maybe now I grow to 15%. I call it an Armageddon fund. In everything go to shit, Bitcoin scores out, yeah. Like, if US go into World War III, hey man, I got my Bitcoin. So that's my Armageddon portfolio segment. But in fact, recently I have much more money in cash. Not because I don't believe in the stock market and all this, but I'm at the stage of my life where my MOP for my BTO is up, and I'm going to buy another two more properties. So that requires a bit of cash. But so I am, with all the gains from my business, from crypto, from stocks, I am actually reallocating them to property right now. So yeah, just a different stage of life. But if I have not MOP, I probably won't be doing this, because yeah.
Wow, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. You have 5 minutes and the whole world watching you. What would you say to them?
5 minutes, the whole world is watching me.
Yeah.
I'll tell them that don't think too much about yourself, because people are going to forget you anyway. Like, you think you got a good 5 minutes. After that, most people will forget you after tomorrow, after 1 hour, after it's not, just go live your life. And stop thinking about what people think about you, because most people are not thinking about you actually. So yeah, and live your life without regrets. Cause and there's a life motto that I do as well. So live your life without regrets, cause you really only have one life. Not in the kind of irresponsible, reckless way, but explore, try. It's not too late. I found my superpower at 28, systemizing, strategizing. I've been doing that for my whole life, but I only realized that this is it. And I could only do that because at 28, after going through 2 jobs, 1 failed business, 2 companies, and all that, I realized that, and I found a company that gave me that blank slate to test. So it's not too late. And in fact, and this kind of mentality is very helpful, because now I'm 36. Maybe I haven't found my biggest superpower. Maybe it's at 40 years old. So I still have some amazing time. So go try, go test. I think most people are afraid to test because they are afraid what people think of them. No one cares about you. Don't worry. Just go do it. Go explore. If it doesn't work out, you know what doesn't work out. So don't put that much don't put that much attention on yourself. You're not that great. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, man. Really appreciate the chat.